This is Kevin Parks, your Swift recruiter. Welcome to From Orientation to Success. Come learn about Swift, about our terminal, and how it works. The people who are there to support you and your success. The opportunities that lie ahead for you. Take a look at your future.
Oh, ever since I was a kid, I've loved trucks. It started way back.
Well, if I do all the right things, I believe it's going to be a good career that will allow me to set some of my own goals again, reach those, and set my retirement through it.
Got bored sitting behind a desk. Wanted to change the scenery. Just can't seem to stay in one place. I used to travel a lot and just kind of wanted to see the country again.
Kind of like a love affair, I think. You got to know or have this strong feeling that you want to do this, because a lot of people, you know, they think, oh, we're going to make $1 million. You crawl in one of them trucks and decide, you know, I can't be cooped up. You got to have the love of it. You know, you got to like to shift gears. You got to like to move them big things around. You got to like to be on time. Push for more loads. Like the old saying says, the wheels ain't turning, you ain't making no money.
Got to looking, saw that Swift is constantly up and down I-25, and so I said, well, they got the most trucks going up and down there, so we'll go that route.
Our business is delivering product and material for our customers. It's what they hire us to do. We're going out now to visit Coors Brewery in Golden, Colorado. Coors was founded in 1873 and is one of the most recognized brands in the world. They're successful because they give the customer what he wants. Coors depends on Swift and its drivers to deliver their product on time, undamaged, and safely. Because Swift takes care of its customers is the reason for our success.
Colorado, we're in the distribution center where the product is loaded on trucks and then taken to the customer. John is the manager here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what goes on in this facility.
Loads are probably pre-scheduled a week in advance. So it's critical that drivers are on time. We pre-stage a lot of loads to get them out in a timely manner, get them picked, ready to go. So if we have a driver that is late, has to cancel, it does bugger up the information, you know, the operation a little bit.
So basically, time is very critical.
Absolutely. It's the most important thing.
Consumer out on the vendor shelf, when they reach for that 6-pack of beer, they want it there when they want to buy it, right?
Absolutely. Just like a distributor, any distributor around the country has a time frame where they're expecting this load from our facility to be received at their location, so they can get their people to deliver it to the retail customer.
So what happens when a truck is late? What happens?
Well, not only does it clog our dock, we could have had pre-staged product, but it takes available product that we might be able to use for other orders if the order is canceled.
What kind of expectations do you have from a driver that arrives in his truck when he walks through your door?
Biggest thing we have, other than being on time, is we need a clean trailer. You know, most drivers, I would say, do a good job of making sure they're bringing in a good, clean, quality trailer. We're dealing with food-grade product. We're looking for load locks, straps, all of the such to be pulled out of the trailer so the operator can load it in a timely manner.
So as a team between us as a transportation company that is basically picking up and delivering your product and taking it to the marketplace, to the vendor, it's very important that we get here on time so that that product right there can go into that trailer properly, be secured. Once it's secured, the driver will pick up his paperwork. He pulls away. He needs to get it to that vendor on time.
That's correct.
So that vendor receives it on time, gets it in his refrigeration system in the store, if it's a 7-Eleven store or a marketplace or whatever, so that when the customer walks in and wants a 6-pack of Coors Light, that product is on the shelf.
That's correct.
That's what we're all after, isn't it?
That's what we're all after. It's a teamwork game. You know, there's an end consumer somewhere, and they're counting on us to do our job correctly.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you letting us visit Coors.
Let's visit with Audrey, a CSR at Swift Transportation. CSR is responsible for maintaining a relationship with our customer.
Yes.
and fostering that relationship.
But you're also maintaining a relationship with the people you work with, so you're the go-between.
Okay.
I guess.
And so as we do that, for a new driver coming into Swift Transportation, really doesn't know what a CSR is.
Has no clue.
He may never ever.
And it's not their fault.
He may never ever deal with a CSR, right? But how important is a CSR to that new
We're
driver?
dealing with drivers more and more. I think over the past few months we've really opened it up to open the communication so that we're allowed to call the drivers and try to explain things, educate.
Okay.
We educate the drivers, we educate the customers, we try to get everybody on the same playing field. So.
Now, what do you do every day as far as our customers go? They send us what? Their loads?
They send us freight.
Okay.
It's my job to book the freight, to make sure that the freight is doable in a legal time, safely, so that our driver isn't under pressure to try to do something he shouldn't be doing, or she.
So you actually build the load in the system then?
Build the load in the system, you coordinate with the final, make sure the delivery times are correct, make sure it's working for everybody involved, basically.
If the driver is delivering this particular load, has picked it up and he's in transit to the final destination, okay, and he has a problem. Let's say he comes into some inclement weather, some really bad weather.
Right.
How's the CSR going to help him?
We're tracking. We're tracking the loads, the planners are tracking the
you mean
loads. We're watching the progress of the loads. We're watching, the driver managers are watching, the planners are watching, the ECTs are watching, everybody's watching. And we try to catch it before it gets to that point. We try to make sure that, oh, okay, they're going to have a huge rainstorm in Kansas with tornadoes. They may have to stop. So we'll call and try to get more delivery time or coordinate it in some way so that it's safer, so that driver can pull over and take that rest and not have to try to drive through that weather.
Our business really starts with you, doesn't it? Because
starts with the customer, but we're kind of the first link.
We're the first link.
We are Swift to them. So if something goes wrong, they're going to call us first. We get the brunt of it first, and then it's our job to coordinate with everybody else to try to make it happen. We pass the information on.
Now, what happens if a driver arrives at final destination late? How significant is that? What's the repercussions if his load is late?
Repercussions can be huge.
Which means
huge.
what?
For example, Coors.
Coors, okay.
If we arrive and Coors production line has to shut down because we didn't arrive in time with the cans or the bottles or whatever, that's $20,000 a day fine for us, because they have now had to shut the entire production down waiting for that material. Once the material arrives, then they have to start the whole process up again. Plus they've got personnel standing around waiting for it. They've got to recalibrate. They've got to do a lot of different things. So it can be very significant.
We all agree that you're one of our premier CSRs.
Oh, thank you.
And I'd like you to tell everyone where you started at Swift Transportation.
I was a driver. I was a driver with my husband. We drove coast to coast. Never thought I would be a truck driver. Never crossed my mind. I have a college degree, and I went and drove trucks and got to see every state except Vermont and Maine. Then realized I didn't want to stay on the truck so much. So this allowed me to get off the truck but still keep my time with Swift, still build on the knowledge that I learned as a driver, which really comes into play now. Because if I get a driver on the phone and they're having difficulties, I know exactly what they're talking about.
Having been there.
And I can explain it to the customer. This is what they're running into, and try to educate the customer that a truck can't or shouldn't go as fast as a car, and this is why. What
would you say now that's the most important thing that you would like to say to all the new drivers coming into Swift Transportation?
Communication. Absolutely, communication. You can't communicate enough.